Navigating 3D space in AutoCAD is really important because the relationship between objects isn't always obvious from a single view. So it's important to be able to shift your view and to control that shift easily and precisely. The ViewCube was introduced in AutoCAD 2009 and it's become a firm favourite with me and with other 3D designers. You see the ViewCube here in the top right hand corner of the screen, or at least that's where it is by default, and essentially it works simply by clicking and dragging on it. So I can change the current view that you see here simply by clicking, holding my left mouse button and dragging my mouse around to change the view. As simple as that, and I can do that as many times as I like. You can see that by doing that, the relationship between the various objects in this space is unambiguous. Additionally, you'll notice that the ViewCube has a number of highlights, or hotspots, and I can click on those hotspots to move to that location. For example, if I want a top view, all I do is click once on the top view hotspot and we get a top view. And if I want a view from this edge here, I can click on that hotspot there. The corners also have hotspots like that. And of course I can go to front for an elevation and right and so on, even bottom. That's quite neat, and in any of these orientations I can click and drag to change my view if I wish, or if I want to go back to my home view I can click on the little home icon here and I'm sent right back to my home view like that. Now, in addition to the cube itself and the hotspots, you'll notice that it has a compass around its base here, and I can click on any of the ordinal points, west for example, to get a view from the west, and so on. Also, there's a ring around the compass here, and that when that highlights blue, if I click and drag on that, you'll notice that I'm able to circle my scene with my elevation remaining the same. That's quite a nice way of just getting an overview of the scene that you're working with at any particular time. Again, I can go back to home by clicking on my home view button like that. And there are a couple of other things to mention here. First of all, the cube options. This little down arrow here reveals a pull down menu with a number of options on it. First of all, there's the home option, and that does the same thing as clicking on the home button there. My perspective can be changed to parallel if I wish. The perspective view is the default view in the AutoCAD ISO 3D drawing template, which is what we're using here, but I can switch back to parallel view if I wish, although you can see that the scene is less easy to interpret. Let's stick with perspective. There are other options here. We can set the current view as our home view. So for example, if we had a particular view that we wanted to retain, say something like that, I could then go to the little options here, click on set current view as home, and then wherever I move with the ViewCube I can always go back to that view simply by clicking on home like that. Back to the options, and we have the ViewCube settings, and this brings up a dialog box which allows us to change various aspects of the cube and its operation. First of all, we can change the location of the ViewCube. By default it sits in the top right corner of the scene, but we can have bottom right, top left and bottom left as well. We can change the ViewCube size. By default it's set to automatic, which is normal, but I can enlarge it, or if you think it's getting in the way you could make it smaller. When the ViewCube is inactive, it takes on a semi-opacity, and by default that's set to 50%, but you can lower or higher that if you're required to do so. You can show the UCS menu. That's this little icon here, which allows you to set the UCS to the world coordinate system, which again is the default, but we have the option of using that to set up new user coordinate systems if we want to. And we have this option set by default to snap to the closest view while we're dragging on the cube. You'll notice that it magnetically jumps to the nearest view, and various other options here. Most of these you can work out for yourself, or you can play about with them and find out exactly what they do. Okay, so there's a general overview of the ViewCube. Again, just clicking and dragging allows us to modify our view to whatever we want.